I was all set for the family cruise, bags packed and excitement bubbling, when Mom told me Grandma was in the hospital. I stayed behind, worried sick, only to discover they'd lied to keep me home. This is a story of betrayal and unexpected revelations. Before we get into the story, let us know where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So this all happened last summer, and I still can't believe it. I'm not even sure where to start because when I think about it, my stomach still twists a little. It was supposed to be the best trip ever. Our family goes on this cruise every year, and honestly, it's the one thing I look forward to more than anything. We don't do big vacations, we don't have crazy traditions or anything, but this was our thing. 7 days on a huge ship, unlimited food, water slides, shows, and best of all, no school, no chores, just pure fun. I'd been counting down for months. I'm not even kidding, I had a whole calendar in my room, and every day I'd cross off another box like I was in some kind of survival challenge. My little sister Lily, who's 10, was just as excited. We'd been watching cruise vlogs, picking out what we wanted to do first. She wanted to do the surf simulator, and I was all about the all-you-can-eat buffet. Now my parents, Dad's pretty laid back, the kind of guy who falls asleep on the couch in the middle of a movie, and Mom's the planner. She's got lists for everything. Packing lists, activity lists, even a schedule for when we should check in our luggage. She was buzzing around the house, making sure everything was perfect, and I was just making sure my Nintendo Switch was charged and my flip-flops weren't buried in the closet. The night before the cruise, I was so hyped I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining waking up to that first morning on the ship, walking outside to see the ocean stretching forever, the sun bouncing off the water. It was gonna be perfect. Then everything changed. I was in the middle of deciding which hoodie to pack, it's always freezing in the dining hall, when Mom came into my room. She had that look. You know, the one where you just know something's wrong before they even say a word? She sat on the edge of my bed, took a deep breath and said, "Honey, I need to talk to you." Instant stomach drop. She told me Grandma Rose had been rushed to the hospital. Something about her heart. They didn't know how bad it was yet, but it was serious. The cruise? Yeah, that wasn't happening for me anymore. I remember just sitting there, staring at her. My brain was trying to catch up because it didn't make sense. Just that morning, I talked to Grandma on the phone. She sounded fine. She was even teasing me about eating too much ice cream on the ship. And now she was in the hospital? I felt sick. My first thought wasn't even about missing the trip. It was about her. Grandma Rose was the best. The kind of grandma who snuck extra fries onto your plate when your parents said no. The one who had the most brutal Uno game, like, she'd destroy you with a +4 card and cackle like a supervillain. She couldn't be sick. I swallowed hard. Is she gonna be okay? Mom hesitated. That made it worse. We don't know yet, she finally said. That's why I need you to stay home. Someone needs to be here for her. We can't just leave. I didn't even argue. How could I? The cruise didn't matter anymore. If Grandma needed me, I wasn't going anywhere. The next morning, I helped load the suitcases into the car. Lily was confused about why I wasn't coming, but she was too excited about the trip to ask too many questions. Dad gave me an awkward side hug and told me to hold down the fort, which felt weird considering I was staying behind for a really serious reason. And then they were gone. I stood in the driveway, watching as the car disappeared around the corner, my stomach twisting. The house felt different already. Too quiet. Too still. A whole week stretched out ahead of me, and all I could think about was Grandma. And I had no idea that everything I was feeling, the worry, the sadness, the guilt, was all for nothing. The house felt emptier than ever. I'd never been home alone for this long, well, technically not alone since Grandma was supposed to need me, but still no parents, no Lily running around. Just silence. I went inside, dropped onto the couch, and stared at my phone for a second before pulling up my messages. Me, "Hey Jamie, you're not gonna believe this. I'm not going on the cruise." I stared at the screen, waiting for the typing bubbles. A few seconds later, they popped up. Jamie, dude, what? Why? I took a deep breath and texted back. Me, Grandma's in the hospital. It's bad. My parents made me stay behind to be with her. Jamie took a second before replying. Jamie, man, that sucks. I'm sorry. LMK if you need anything. I tossed my phone onto the couch and ran a hand down my face. This whole thing still felt unreal. But I didn't have time to sit around. Grandma needed me. I grabbed my backpack and biked to the hospital. The whole ride, my mind raced through worst-case scenarios. What if she was hooked up to a million wires? What if she couldn't talk? What if she wasn't even awake? By the time I got there, my stomach was in knots. The lobby smelled like bleach and coffee, and everything was way too bright. I walked up to the desk, cleared my throat, and asked for Rose Thompson. The lady typed on her keyboard, squinting at the screen. "I'm sorry, who?" "Rose Thompson," I repeated, shifting my weight. "She was brought in last night. She's my grandma." She frowned. "I don't see anyone by that name here." My mouth went dry. Maybe she's under a different name? She shook her head. "No Thompson in the system. Are you sure she's at this hospital?" I just stood there, my brain tripping over itself. Maybe I had the wrong place. Maybe Mom had said something about another hospital, and I just forgot? I stepped back and pulled out my phone. Mom, I'm at the hospital, but they said Grandma isn't here." "Which hospital is she in?" No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. I clenched my jaw, staring at my screen like I could force her to answer. This wasn't normal. She always had her phone on her. Even on vacation, she was the kind of person who responded to emails in the middle of a pool day. I tried Dad next. Same thing. A weird feeling crawled up my spine. I tried to shake it off. Maybe there was a mix-up. Maybe they didn't put her in the system yet, or maybe she was in a different section of the hospital. I took a deep breath, thanked the receptionist, and left. I biked home in a daze, my mind circling the same question over and over. Where was Grandma? I tried calling her next. It rang. And rang. And then, "Hey there, you've reached Rose. I can't talk right now, so leave me a message and I'll call you back." I stared at my phone. My heart was pounding. If she was in the hospital, why was her phone on? I left a message anyway. Hey Grandma, it's me. I heard what happened. I'm really worried about you. Please call me when you can." I hung up and sat there, gripping my phone. Something felt wrong. That night, I barely slept. I kept checking my phone, waiting for a call or a text. Nothing. The next morning, I was sitting at the kitchen table, picking at a bowl of cereal when Jamie sent me a text. "Jamie, bro. Check this out." Attached was a picture. My stomach dropped. It was a selfie. From the cruise. Jamie's cousin had posted it on Instagram. She was on the same ship as my family, and in the background, sitting at a table near the pool deck, was Grandma Rose. Laughing. Holding a fruity drink with an umbrella in it. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I stared at the photo, my mind scrambling to make sense of it. Maybe it was an old picture? Maybe. Another text came through. "Jamie, dude, your parents lied to you." I just sat there, staring at the screen, feeling like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I kept zooming in on the picture, hoping, praying that maybe somehow I was wrong. That maybe it was an old photo. Maybe someone who looked like Grandma. Maybe. I don't even know. But there she was, clear as day, wearing her favorite sun hat, sipping a bright blue drink, and laughing. Not in a hospital bed. Not sick. She was fine. And she was on the cruise. I felt my face go hot, my hands clenched around my phone. My brain was a mess, trying to grab onto anything that made this make sense. My parents had lied. Straight to my face. Told me she was sick just so I'd stay home. I don't even remember standing up, but suddenly, I was pacing. My pulse was hammering, my stomach twisting so hard I thought I was gonna throw up. Why would they do this? Why go through all this just to keep me home? My phone buzzed again. "Jamie, bro? You good?" I swallowed, my throat dry. I don't know what to do." The typing bubbles popped up, then disappeared. Then popped up again. Finally, Jamie sent, "Dude. You have to call them." I let out a sharp laugh, more like a bark honestly. Like, yeah sure, let me just call them up and ask, "Hey, why did you completely betray me?" That'd go over well. But I had to do something. I pulled up Dad's number first. Hit call. Straight to voicemail. Tried Mom next. Voicemail. My heart was pounding now, my fingers gripping my phone so tight they ached. My own family, the people who raised me, who always talked about how family is everything, had just ditched me. Lied to my face. I needed answers. I needed to talk to someone. I grabbed my bike and rode straight to Jamie's house. The second he opened the door, I shoved my phone at him. Look at this. Jamie took one look at the picture and let out a low whistle. Damn. I dropped onto his couch, my head in my hands. I don't get it, man. Why do this? Why this big of a lie? Jamie sat next to me, scrolling through the post. I mean, your parents have been weird about school lately, right? I frowned. What? He looked up. Dude, remember? You failed that math test last semester, and your mom freaked out. Said no more video games during the week, no sleepovers. Maybe this is about that. I shook my head, but something inside me twisted. Yeah, Mom had been serious about my grades lately. Ever since I started struggling in math, she was on me constantly. But would she really go this far? Jamie nudged me. Look, man, you gotta be smart about this. If you just freak out and start yelling when they get back, they're just gonna shut you down. You need a plan. I exhaled, rubbing my face. He was right. I couldn't just explode on them the second they walked through the door. I needed to think. I spent the rest of the week going over everything. Every conversation, every weird moment leading up to them leaving. The more I thought about it, the more it started to fit. Mom had been talking about my grades a lot. She even mentioned that maybe a break from distractions would be good for me. Was this her idea of a break? By the time Sunday rolled around, the day they were coming back, I was ready. I wasn't gonna let them brush this off. I wasn't just gonna sit there and take it. They owed me an explanation. I heard the car pull up before I saw it. I was sitting in the living room, pretending to be on my phone, but really, my whole body was tight, bracing for this moment. The second I heard the car doors shut, my stomach clenched. I took a deep breath, setting my phone down. Don't blow up. Stay calm. Make them talk first. The front door swung open, and there they were, Mom, Dad, and Lily, all tanned and laughing like they had the best week of their lives. They dropped their bags in the hallway, not even glancing at me. Like I didn't exist. Like they didn't just spend a whole week lying to me. Mom was the first to notice me sitting there. Oh. Hey, sweetie. We're back. She walked over and kissed my forehead like everything was normal. How was your week? How's Grandma? I clenched my jaw. I had two options, explode right now or let them dig their own grave. I swallowed my anger and sat back. She's fine. Dad dropped his suitcase and stretched. Yeah? She wasn't too much trouble. I stared at him. He looked so relaxed. Like nothing was wrong. Like he didn't just lie to me and leave me behind. I folded my arms. Nope. She was great. The whole time. Mom smiled, kicking off her sandals. Oh, that's such a relief. I was so worried about her. Something in me snapped. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. Were you? Mom blinked. What? I took a slow step forward, my pulse hammering. You were so worried about Grandma? I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen, and turned it around. She looks real sick in this picture, huh? Dead silence. Mom's face drained of color. Dad just froze, like his brain couldn't catch up. I let that picture sit there for a second, Grandma laughing, holding her little umbrella drink, having the time of her life. Then I pulled the phone back and crossed my arms. I went to the hospital, I said, my voice tight. I called her. I called you. And you just ignored me. My hands curled into fists at my sides. You lied to me. Dad ran a hand down his face, looking at Mom. Like she was supposed to fix this. Mom stepped forward. Alex, honey, let's just. No. I shouted, my voice cracking. Don't honey me. I stayed behind because I thought Grandma was sick. I was worried, terrified. And the whole time, you guys were just partying on a boat. Like I don't even matter. Mom flinched like I hit her. Lily tugged on Dad's arm, looking up at him. What's going on? Dad exhaled, rubbing his temples. Go to your room, Lily. She frowned. But now. His voice was sharp, and Lily shrunk back, hurrying upstairs. I turned back to them. So? Are you gonna say anything? My voice was shaking. Or are you just gonna pretend like I'm the problem here? Mom's hands twisted together. Sweetheart, listen. Why? My throat felt tight. Just tell me why you did it. Dad let out a long sigh, dropping onto the couch. We needed you to stay home. I let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, I got that much. Mom sat down next to him, her shoulders slumping. We did it for you, Alex. I stared at her. My stomach turned. For me. She met my eyes, her face full of guilt. Your grades, sweetheart. You've been struggling. And you don't take things seriously enough. You spend too much time playing video games, goofing off with Jamie, not focusing. We thought, she swallowed, like even she knew how bad this sounded. We thought it'd be better if you stayed behind and used the time to study. I felt my chest tighten. So you just lied? Instead of talking to me? Dad sighed. Alex, we knew you wouldn't stay willingly. And if we just told you to stay home, you would have fought us on it. This way, we thought it'd be easier. I let out a shaky breath, my hands trembling. Easier for who? Mom's lips parted, but no words came out. I took a step back. I felt sick. You always talk about how family means everything, I whispered. How we should always be honest with each other. But when it's convenient for you, that just doesn't matter. Dad looked away. Mom reached for me, but I stepped back. Alex. No. My voice cracked. Just no. I turned and walked away, straight to my room, and slammed the door. I didn't want to hear another word. Not from them. Not tonight. I sat on my bed, staring at the ceiling. I wasn't mad anymore. I wasn't even shocked anymore. I just felt empty. Like something in me had cracked, and no matter what my parents said, no matter how many excuses they gave, I wasn't sure it could be fixed. They lied to me. Not about some dumb little thing. Not about a surprise party or a Christmas gift or whatever. They lied about Grandma being sick. They used her just to keep me home. And they thought it was okay. I didn't come out for dinner. Mom knocked on my door, calling my name softly, but I just pulled my blanket over my head. I heard her sigh and walk away. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I woke up feeling heavy. My chest tight, my throat dry. My parents were downstairs, making breakfast like nothing happened. Like we weren't completely broken. I stayed in my room for a while, but I couldn't avoid them forever. Eventually, I dragged myself downstairs, my stomach growling even though I wasn't sure I could eat. Mom looked up from the stove, her face soft with guilt. Morning, sweetie. I made pancakes. Dad cleared his throat. You hungry? I sat at the table. Not really. They exchanged a look. Then Mom sat across from me, folding her hands. Alex, we need to talk. I didn't say anything. She let out a breath. We messed up. Dad nodded. We shouldn't have lied. We thought we were doing the right thing, but we weren't. I swallowed hard, staring at my plate. Then why does it still feel like you don't get it? My voice was quiet, but the words felt heavy. You used Grandma. You made me think she was sick. I stayed behind, worried about her, while you guys were off having fun. Do you even know what that felt like? Mom's eyes filled with tears. We do now, she whispered. And we are so sorry. Dad sighed. We didn't know how else to get through to you, Alex. Your grades have been slipping, and we thought this would give you time to focus. But that doesn't excuse what we did. I swallowed, my throat tight. So what now? Mom reached for my hand, hesitated, then pulled back. We're gonna earn your trust back. If you'll let us. I wanted to be angry. I should have been angry. But instead, I just felt tired. I let out a slow breath. You have to talk to me next time. Not trick me. Not lie to me. Mom nodded quickly. We will. I swear. Dad looked at me, his face serious. We'll work on this, okay? We'll be better. I didn't know if I fully believed them. But maybe we could start somewhere. The next few days were weird. Awkward. But we talked. About school. About what I needed. About how they were gonna help me without treating me like I couldn't handle the truth. And then one night at dinner, Dad cleared his throat. We've been thinking, he looked at Mom. We owe you a real family trip. No lies. Just all of us together. Mom smiled. Next summer. All of us. No exceptions. I stared at them. Really? Dad nodded. Really? It wasn't perfect. I wasn't over it. But maybe, just maybe, we were getting there.